So, my number 10, again, it's one of these albums that I needed to include somewhere in my kind of top 20 picks, and it's Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd.
Okay.
Again, very much like the Sex Pistols, it's a band that needs no introduction. I think certainly an album that probably doesn't need any introduction. I think it's one of those albums that are consistently rated as one of the kind of best albums of all time. It was released in 1973. It contains 10 songs and is approximately 42 minutes and kind of 53 seconds long. It's the 8th studio album from the band, and was released 4 years after the departure of Sid Barrett, who was one of the founding members. And he left the band after his mental health started to deteriorate, and he continued to have mental health difficulties throughout the course of his life. And the album kind of explores a lot of those issues. Kind of the opening track, Speak to Me, which only lasts, like, it's just over a minute long. You hear a lot of people speaking, and at one point you hear somebody say, I know I'm mad, I've always been mad. And like I said, they continue to explore that theme throughout the course of the album. And again, I would say it's very much a kind of concept album. Although, unlike, say, the likes of American Prayer, I think there are songs that you could pick out and listen to individually. But after the kind of the intro, as I just mentioned, the songs seem to just melt into each other effortlessly. David Gilmour's vocals, but in particular his guitar, and the range of texture that the rest of the band provide on this album. I mean, it's just great, but I think in particular Richard Wright, who's the kind of synth or organ player, it just takes you to another place. I've described it as transcendental.
Yeah,
which
good fitting.
Yeah, I don't think it's really all that too much of a kind of overestimation that you just can't help but come immersed in. And I think this album very much has provided the blueprint for prog rock since. It's great. Like I said, there's a few songs that you could pick out and listen to individually. Time being one of them. It's kind of a well-known Pink Floyd song. Roger Waters provides a pretty funky bass on there. Same with Money. But yeah, definitely one that you kind of need to listen to.
Time and Money are the sort of ones that I know. I don't think I've actually listened to this the whole way through. And Pink Floyd have never been a band I was all that into, but like Time and Money are both really good tunes. And I think I'm not that big a fan of like prog, even though I've got 2 prog albums on my list. they're slightly different, but
to be honest, neither am I. But I can't deny the kind of influence that this album had in my life at one point.
Yeah.
We listened to it a lot. I lived with 2 pretty big prog rock fans, Healed and later McGill, who would often play a lot of the kind of guitar riffs himself from the likes of Dark Side of the Moon. And for me, it was a toss-up of whether or not to include this or another one of the band's albums called Medal. You ever heard of that?
No, never heard of it.
So the album art just looks like you know, if you put paint into water and then put a sheet of paper into it, and the paint kind of just sticks and it gets that kind of marbled effect.
Okay.
That's what the album cover looks like. I've got it on vinyl, and I'm not particularly enamoured with side 1. There's maybe only like 5 or 6 tracks in there, maybe more, but I'm not particularly enamoured with it. But on the other side, there's Echoes, which is just phenomenal. Again, it's one of these long tracks. Again, it's probably similar in length to No Effects of Decline that we mentioned earlier on. I think it is a good 18 minutes long, and was featured in Stanley Kubrick's film Space Odyssey 2001.
Okay.
And it's just brilliant. I mean, there's a good 3-4 minutes in that track where it just sounds as if they've inserted whale sounds, which is quite difficult to digest, but it's still a fantastic song. But I think overall, if I was to pick an album that's kind of great from start to finish, it would have to be Dark Side of the Moon.
Nice, okay.
So
So it's Dark Side of the Moon by Pink
Pink
Floyd.
Floyd.